Fore players by Barstool Sports. Fuck, I would say, because it's early. We don't usually do early. This isn't known as an early podcast. In fact, it's so early that Trent Daddy is not here yet. I feel bad for him because he's on the West Coast, so it's 6 a.m. Recording a podcast by 6 a.m., not great. He said, I think when we were scheduling this, he said, I'm going to be a cold, dead body when we record that. And I think that's probably pretty accurate, but we all got crazy-ass schedules, so here we are. It's early.
Let's hope that's not true. Let's just hope that cold, dead body is not true. That's scary.
I think he's alive. He just hasn't fully awakened yet. We could start with hockey if you guys want, which the St. Louis Blues absolutely curb stomped the Minnesota Wild for the fifth straight time this year with a 4-0 defeat on the road. There was a lot of late action last night. I didn't see how it turned out.
Lurch?
What happened last night?
Yeah, no, tough loss. Lost in triple overtime. Didn't see that one coming. Strong start out of the gate for the boys, and then they just lingered. And I'll tell you what, Sidney Crosby.
Pittsburgh had like 100 shots on net. They had like 100 shots on net.
Yeah, it's just a shame, Shesterkin, the god, the chosen one. What are they calling him now? The prince, they like to call him. I mean, he had a lot of saves
in New York.
He had a lot of saves, which was like a cool little stat. I saw like the images that Rangers were putting up. The second most saves in NHL history in the playoffs. The most saves by a Ranger, and then just one too little. You know what I mean? It's just you needed to make one more, and it's a lesson to all those kids out there. No matter it's the lesson to all those kids out there. Do never rest on all of your successes. Keep going. You have 79 saves, you need 80. You have 80 saves, you need 81. You just got to keep going. You can't sit back and be happy with all of your personal accolades. So, I'm not going to be that butthurt fan that didn't make the playoffs and roots against his other team, but that's exactly what I'm going to be, and that's exactly who I've been my whole entire life. I enjoy Ranger losses more than I enjoy Islander wins. It's just a fact of who I am and where I came from and how I was built. And that was a tough loss for the Rangers. Parking garages closed on people. I saw like Lurch's dad had to go move his car. I heard horror stories of people in Manhattan getting their cars locked inside places that they've parked in.
No
forever.
way. Because I was like, Dad, it's 24-hour parking. Like, what are you
There's
doing?
places that close at like 11. They're just like, we're done. You think they're waiting around for a triple overtime game? That's one of the negatives to being inside a major city, especially
I have
a
to
city
say,
that's like
as
New York
a
City.
child, I never really realized what a triple overtime game, what that is like for adults, and not even for adults, but adults that are working professionally around the game. Like every time they would go back to intermission and they would go to the set inside the studio, you could just sense how miserable those fucking guys were that they were still there. I mean, they're contracted to like do 3 of these things in between periods, do a quick post game, and then go back to the hotel, go home, and probably like fly home the next morning or whatever. And here they are. It's like midnight. They're supposed to be home fucking 3 hours ago. It's whichever team makes the last mistake, it's gonna really suck, and they're just still grinding through those. As a kid, you're like, it's triple OT. This is great. Every adult was miserable. Like even at the loudness whenever the Rangers had a chance to score at MSG, it was just muted in the second or third overtime because people were just like, all right, I mean, kind of have like, can we just pause this and come back tomorrow or so? It's kind of ridiculous that they just keep going.
It was, I mean, my dad was there. He's 70 plus years old, and he literally left the arena, moved his car because the parking garage closed at 10, and then somehow got back in the arena and they let him in. So, yeah, I mean, we had a couple selfies between my dad and 2 or 3 of his buddies that are there, and they're all older guys. So it's like, all right, I mean, this is now a late hockey game, and we got to drive after this the whole bit. But, yeah, it was just a brutal loss, It's the only way you can spin it, really. The Garden was bumping early and then really tough. Had the goal called back, which hurt, but I felt like that was probably the right call. I don't think the guy really set his edge to evade the goalie. I think that was fair, even though didn't really want to see that happen. But I do think the Rangers have more depth going into the rest of the series. So maybe this long game hurts the top lines of Pittsburgh more than it hurts the Rangers. We'll see.
I actually don't hate, if you're a Ranger fan, which you are, Lurch, which has been sad for the last 5 or 6 years, but there's some positivity coming, I think. I actually don't think a triple OT game, win or lose, is the worst thing because your team's so inexperienced that getting those guys, there's obviously jitters and you're getting in the first couple periods. But after like slugging through 6 periods of that, I feel like a lot of those guys are probably like, all right, I mean, now we're just in the fucking playoffs and it is what it is. So I was thinking even second overtime, I was kind of like looking at the faces of those guys being like, I think they're over the aura of overtime playoff hockey now. And they're sort of just like, all right, this is fucking hockey. And for a young squad like that, I agree with you because it had like in the 7-game series, what gets a little bit underrated is the toll that it truly could fucking take on teams in hockey because you get your body beat to fuck. And I think that if you really are a truly deeper team than others and you could get it going 6 or 7 games, I think that becomes a huge advantage. And I think the Rangers do have that. But if they have another tough loss like that or two, I don't know that they're going to get to a point in the series where the depth's really going to matter because the Penguins could just fucking hit you at any moment.
Yeah, I think 2 tough losses and the series is over. That's one. So
Especially
one
for a young
more
team.
and it's over. So, yeah, because like the other side is that, yeah, we're young, we're in the mix, but it's confidence is just a massive issue, and we got to close out that hockey game and figure out a way to win it. We didn't. But, yeah, I mean, the other thing is playoff hockey is just the best thing in the planet. I could watch any game under the sun. And then, obviously, what the Avs did last night, and then they score, and then Devin
They're going to be a problem.
Burns.
Yeah,
They're a real
Devontae's and the
problem.
boys are going to be a real issue over in the Western Conference, the western part of the country. What they're
Dude, they're
doing
playing
out
a
there
different
is
hockey game.
seismic. I mean, they were up. I fucking landed. I turned on and I had the Barstool Sportsbook, took a couple wagers. Rangers money line. They killed me last night, so thanks for that, Lurch. And then
No problem.
I took the over 6.5 in the Avs Preds game, and I'm still not even mentally prepared for what's going on in the Ranger game because they're going on simultaneously. It's like 1 overtime, 2 overtime. By the time I check on the Avs game, they're up 5-0. I mean, there was like 7 minutes left in the first period. They're up 5. I was like, whoa. And then our guy Matt Duchene, who he helped us get on the over. He scored the only 2 goals. There at one point in Colorado where he used to play, and I felt a little bit bad for him, but he's an awesome guy, so I don't think he really cares. But they were chanting Duchene sucks, and then he just scored his second goal of the game as they were chanting Duchene sucks at him. So he helped me out big time on the over. So big thanks to them. But they just steamrolled and looked like they were going to score the most goals in the history of playoff hockey. And what's his face? Landeskog has, I think he's 3rd all time in points per game in the playoffs, behind Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux at like 1 point. He's got like 1.41 points per game in the playoffs or something for people that have played 40 or more games, playoff games. He's 3rd all time in points per game. And that's probably only going to go up because Colorado is going to be so goddamn good for the next 4 or 5 years, it feels like. So, yeah, they're going to be a serious issue, I think. They're going to be a real issue.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in the NHL by far. I mean, like, the pace that they play at is just insane. The speed, like, Edmonton, obviously McDavid, but he plays in like a one-off. That whole team flies around the ice, and it feels like there's chance after chance after chance, which was the saddest part about my Rangers last night, is that we just looked slow, honestly. Like, they were beating us to pucks. Reeves is a hammer, but, like, on the aggregate, we were just slow to get the pucks, and it just was it was a sad loss. And then the other thing, actually, that I love, because I am a Crosby guy, that guy still just has it. He's just so goddamn good. Every shift, that line of Rust, Gensel, and Crosby, they dominated. Chance after chance.
The little passes he makes, and like the little chips towards the goalie that, like, from a side angle, like trying to bounce it in under his armpit. Like, who even attempts that shit?
And then just the way he goes into the zone, and like on that goal, I think Russ scored where he passed it through defenseman and he was just behind our defenseman. He circles or like cuts high, which attracts that D man. So now he can't slough and take the guy, or just like was miscommunicated. And then he just passes through him and he creates a breakaway in 7 feet of space. It's like, dude, you're insane.
How about that one clear attempt that he just knocked down right at the blue line in the offense?
The hand eye is off the charts.
Just knocked it down, passed it right to his right, and they almost scored a goal. It's just crazy. He's nuts. He's fucking nuts.
Dude.
And then Malkin's like, you don't want to get Malkin going because now he's like reinvigorated.
No. Yeah, I don't know if he's banged up. He doesn't look like his whole
slow.
self. Like
he's been banged up forever, I feel like. He's been banged up his whole goddamn career. Quick correction, it's Nathan McKinnon who has, coming into this, I believe, had 1.47 points per game in the playoffs in his career. And the only two that are ahead of him are Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, which are two pretty
Jesus.
goddamn good names. And if Mario Lemieux hadn't been, as injured and sick and dealing with illness as he was when he retired the first time, before he came back after several years. Mario Lemieux was, I believe, the only player to have average over 2 points per game throughout his entire career. Over two. Every time he laced up the skates, Pittsburgh was going to score at least 2 goals off of his stick, either assist or scoring. And then if you ever want to get the chills, you go back and watch Mario Lemieux's first game back after the 2 or 3 years of retirement, when I think he had like 2 goals and 2 assists, and one of them was like a breakaway when everybody kind of like the hype was all built up and he scored. It'll give you the fucking chills. But anyways, we're talking a lot about playoff hockey. It's not a hockey podcast, so we're not going to talk hockey. But Gametime is the best app. If you're looking to go to a game, I think this weekend I'm going to be in St. Louis. I'm going to see my nephew and niece for the first time since Christmas, see a bunch of the boys. I believe I'm going to go to a Blues game, and I believe the way I'm going to do it is Gametime, which is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score. Last-minute deals on tickets to sports. Blues will probably be up 2-0 going back to home ice, which is nice. Concert shows, they guarantee the lowest price. These guys were just at a show last week, Nate Bargatze. I don't believe they needed to use Gametime because we're friends with the guy, not to brag. But if you're looking to go to any show from comedy, concert, music, playoff hockey, basketball, before you know it, which is crazy, it's going to be, we're already in baseball season, but we're going to have football. Things are always kind of happening. That's why they've figured out. The system has been figured out where there's always just some giant event coming up. And you can go to it using Gametime. Download the Gametime app. Go to the account tab to create a login. Redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime. Last-minute ticket deals. Lowest price. Guaranteed. Gametime, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. That's us. We work for Barstool Sports. We're the golf guys at Barstool Sports. Gametime, code FORE, $20 off. PGA Championship will be there. So a lot of the questions we're asking, I put out a little tweet just because I was bored this morning and there's nothing else to do in the morning. Are you guys morning people in general?
No.
Yeah.
I think I am. I'm more of a morning person than a night person.
You know who's not is T-Daddy.
T-Daddy,
I
I think Frankie, you grew up in the restaurant. The restaurant industry is not a morning industry. It's a night industry.
Sleep till 11, like get to the place at like 2:30, like your shift starts at 4, and then you're just there until 2 in the morning.
Counting receipts and doing the whole
do it
fucking
all
deal,
over again the next
out.
day.
Yeah.
Unless you're my dad and he like wakes up at 6 a.m. and then goes to bed at fucking 2 a.m. and that's just a whole nother, that's owning a restaurant. But for me, it's not great. I'm not a morning person. I was better at being a morning person when I was in the Dave Portnoy world, when I was like, had to be at the office at 9 a.m. or else I'd get tweeted at being like, Frankie Braley's pathetic. It's 9:01 and he's not here and we have something to do. So I definitely was on a better schedule. But now that like we're traveling so much and like can kind of make our own schedule and do things, I'm definitely more sluggish in the mornings.
Yeah. The world that we used to live in when it was a lot more, when Barstool was a lot tighter, especially on the content side, Dave was a lot more plugged into the daily blog stuff. It was tough because if you were ever late about anything in the morning, you would get shit on like you just said, but you also couldn't miss anything at night in terms of games, news, whatever. So you had to like be up till midnight or 1 in the morning focused on what's going on TV or live events. So you really couldn't miss fucking anything. If you missed anything, you get roasted. Now, luckily, we've sort of detached to a degree, but you can occasionally get, I think it was like last summer, I just got a random like text from Dave about like, oh, we don't blog golf news or something anymore. And I was just like, just Googled like golf and was like, what the fuck's going on right now? So you could get it, I guess.
Is that story of the I can't remember who it was, but he was a Yankees blogger back in the day, and he was just on a boat for Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit, and just did. So he had written a pre-written blog congratulating Derek Jeter, and he just forgot to include all the incredible details of Jeter hitting a home run off David Price and like it being the most Derek Jeter Yankees.
Yeah, he went like 5 for 5, didn't he?
Yeah, it was just exactly. Exactly. So like it's just the most it's so Barstool that like back in the day you needed to like just grind everything. Like Dave says he used to eat a full baguette from Panera and just sit at his fucking computer and just blog 15 blogs a day, just whatever he saw. So yeah, it was definitely different. So I think Barstool used to be a morning place, and now it's definitely changing, I think.
Dude, he did, to the point where, in 08, 09, probably 08 was when I first started reading Barstool, and it was pretty much Dave at the time. Like 09, I think, is when KFC and K Marco and them were hired. But at the time, it was pretty much Dave and a few random writers. I think like Rear Admiral was actually blogging at the time, which is amazing to think about where he's at now. But in 2008, I was in college, and there are times you'd be grinding in the library, and all you're doing is procrastinating, trying not to write your 10-page paper that you had to write. And we would legitimately refresh the BarstoolSports.com website every 15 minutes. And if there wasn't a new blog from Dave, you'd be like, what the fuck is that guy doing? And like every 15 to like 20 minutes, he would publish a new blog. Like all day from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night, he would write a new blog all fucking day. It was incredible. He'd do it every fucking day. And if he didn't, you'd be pissed. You'd be like, where the fuck is Portland? Like, what is this guy doing?
I remember that too. I remember that same feeling, being like, what are these guys like up to right now that like there hasn't been one? And I remember thinking, wow, Dave's definitely reaming people behind the scenes because there hasn't been one for an hour. Because the Barstool app, or it was before the app, you would just go on, like, for me, I'd go on like the internet browser on my phone or on my computer. But if there, like, you had to read every blog regardless of what city it came from, because it wasn't so like sports oriented. It was just everyone wrote about a funny story. It was definitely it was so much different.
It was so different to the point where you would get 3 blogs in a row from different writers about the same topic. And that would go on from like 09 until 2019, I feel like, because we used to do that. And then it got to the point where we would parody ourselves when that would happen. And we would intentionally have someone else behind the scenes assign like 4 of us to write about the same topic and publish it at the same time, just to rattle someone else behind the scenes. So, it's a little bit of a shit show, but now we're in a different world where we just do a fucking golf podcast. And on this golf podcast, we're about to have our first, I believe, UFC fighter that we've ever had. Will be on this show, Ian Garry, who I'm not a UFC expert. There was a stretch where I got a little bit more into it when I was tighter with Robbie Fox, who is, of course, our main, UFC, I guess, Large and a few others are up there now, but who is the most passionate, I would say, UFC guy. And, I got more into it at different times, but this Ian Garry is supposed to be some young hot shot who absolutely loves golf and wants to take up golf whenever he's done fighting and try to make it as long as he can. So should be an interesting interview. I want to ask a lot about the fighting world because I just don't know that much about it. So anyways, that's coming up at the second half of the show. And then we got a bunch of topics and from the gallery questions to get to that we did not get to because we were interrupted by one Kevin Kisner on the last show, and he popped in and hung with us for like an hour and 15 minutes after committing to do about 25 minutes with us. I have to get an update on what's going on with Dr. Brett McCabe down in Bama. I think you kind of electrified the internet yesterday with what, many thought was a doctored clip because it couldn't have been that perfect. But, I know it's a series. I know we don't want to give and spoil the entire thing, but it appears things are going progressively well.
Yeah, fixing Frankie is off to a tremendous start. I think Kiz said it best where he said, we found the 2 best people for us in John Tillery for Trent and Dr. Brett McCabe for myself. Couldn't have gone better. Like, starting a new series is a little nerve-wracking. You have no idea what the story's going to be, if people are going to care about it, how you're going to shoot it, what kind of content you're going to get. I mean, without like revealing too much about it, I don't want to like give away the processes because I think that's what's going to make people want to watch the video, like how you actually maneuver yourself around a golf shot and the golf course. And it's not just course management, it's just a way of thinking. Makes so much sense the way he describes it, where it's like, why aren't you thinking this way when you're about to do this? And when you start to think that way, you just hit better golf shots. Like, obviously I'm not cured when it comes to chipping. Like, he makes the point where it's like, you're gonna still hit bad chips. You don't know why, because like Tiger Woods flubs chips into the fucking ponds. He's the best golfer that's ever lived. Like, Tiger Woods skulls fucking chips and duffs them, and Max Homa does the same thing. So you're never gonna like become perfect, but what he gets me to is a state where I get confident. And I was only with him for 6 hours. I got confident over the ball because he put my mindset in a way where it's like, we can do this for sure. And it's like minimizing your mistakes. Like we really talked about, like when I played the other day and I hit it 10 feet off the green and I made a 7. Like, how do we avoid ever doing that again? Just making our 4 and moving on to the next hole. Like, don't like let one mistake be one mistake, not 4. And it's like it's almost like a sense of maturity you have on the golf course where you're like, we're not making par here, right? Even though you're still on your second shot, we're not making a 4. So let's make a 5. Let's really try and make a 5. And it's really cool to see how different the result is when you just approach it that way. It's fucking awesome. So Dr. Brett McCabe, he's in the golf world. He's renowned, man. I mean, I was getting messages yesterday being like, this dude's the real deal. His home course is out here, Greystone Legacy. Max Homa's coach is out here. So he's got like an amazing facility out there on the driving range. It's a really good community of golfers out here. It's really cool to see. And he is just, you saw it in the video. He's like into it. He's animated. And that was not the first chip in. I mean, we played a full round, like ball and hole, to see where my game was at. So the video is going to be awesome. I think we're going to like Tuscaloosa today, maybe get, some cool stuff at the university because he teaches at the university. He said he had like a meeting with coach today, which like only happens like once a year. And like,
Yeah,
dude, the
just
guy like
coach.
legitimately
You're using
had
just the term coaches.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, he works for the football team. Like he has national championship rings in his office. It's truly remarkable. I mean, you're talking like Mac Jones and like Tua. He literally works with these guys like to become the best quarterbacks they can be, and like now I'm working with them to become the best golfer, and it's fucking insane.
The hug told me a lot. The fact that you guys were, I mean, that was sincere. That was a guy that's rooting for you. That was you, a guy that trusts the man that's helping you out. The way you approached that chip shot, I've never seen you so level-headed and focused like that. I mean, you stood behind the ball like you were fucking PGA Tour pro, and we're like, yeah I'm just gonna drop this ball right there. It was insanity.
And like,
I was like, who the fuck?
Like my
is
hands were forward, so like he didn't even teach me technique. Like everything kind of fell into place once I had the right mindset. And one of the things we're really working on is picking the right clubs. And like, you guys will like to know this because you've watched me just struggle with 60 degrees my whole life. And everyone that's ever tweeted at me is like, why is this guy using 60 degrees of tight lies? Where pros wouldn't even do it. And yesterday in a full round, I used a pitching wedge around the green like 7 times. And like, it worked so much better. Like, wait until you see the footage of these just like little putting stroke punch shots running through the rough of like 15 feet and just checking onto the green and just going to 5 to 6 feet to give ourselves a chance. When like, what am I trying to do with a blady 60 degree to try and like, the biggest eye-opening thing from the video is going to be when he tells me to pick my spot on the short range. He goes, go put a tee down where you want to land this thing, and how wrong that was in my head.
Oh,
like,
wow.
We would go to like a flag and he'd be like, go put a tee down of where you want to land this thing. And I'd put it down and he'd start laughing and walk away. Be like, why? What are you trying?
You're putting it way too close to the flag, probably.
Yeah, I was putting it.
Yeah.
I was in my mind. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna be a 2-hop stop. I'm gonna hit this thing nice and high. It's gonna sit down soft. He's like, why? He's like, Kevin Kisner wouldn't do that here. What are you doing? Like, your chance of success is 5%. Let's make it 85. Let's just take a pitching wedge and just do a putting stroke, land it right here, and just use the green just like you would with a putt. Don't even fucking worry about everything else. And what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to run out a little bit? Okay. What's the worst that's going to happen with the wedge? You're going to hit it 2 inches, or you're going to blade it over the street, which I did. I bladed one over the street. The footage is insane.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah,
I
it's
I feel like everybody's going to learn a lot from these things. Everybody learns a lot from these. It's like with Trent Sears, everybody can learn from that shit. It's not just like, oh, you're that skill level. It applies to everybody.
Yeah, and I think he's really good buddies with Scott Fawcett. So, I mean, and Fawcett doesn't know this, but I'm coming to him too. So that's going to be the next episode or episode 3. So we're doing Decade Golf for sure. We're going to try that out. I mean, he doesn't even know it. I'm announcing that now. I'm coming to him for episode 2. Like, we're just going to keep rolling.
No, Fawcett will be into that. He's a relentless fella. He has sent me 1,000 DMs about us like collaborating. I had to just stop responding to his DMs at one point. Yeah. But he's great. I like Scott Fawcett a lot, but he was like, you need to come to this event. We're going to co-brand that. And I eventually was
we're just coming in. He's teaching me how to hit the ball in the middle of the green. That's all we're doing.
Yeah. I think Kiz is a decade golf guy. At least he was, I know, last year. I think he probably still is. Because I remember on the 17th hole at the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines last year when Tillery, Trent's swing coach, was like, yeah, the line here via decade golf, which we're using now, is actually, into the bunker on the right. And if you draw it a little bit, it's perfect. But if you hit it in that bunker, you're fine. If you miss a little bit left, that's why you aim at the bunker. If you miss a little bit left, it kicks into the hazard, which is exactly what happened to Louis Oosthuizen, who's in why he lost the U.S. Open. So I remember that. I think Kiz is a decade golf guy because of that. So imagine you getting Mr. Dr. McCabe and Scott Fawcett. I mean, you're gonna have. We're just gonna see.
No
we're gonna see
excuses
Frankie
now,
like
Frankie.
standing behind shots, visualizing shots, talking to us about ideal target lines. It's gonna be fucking insane.
There's
It's
no
gonna be-
excuses, Lurch, but I have to just commit to like these processes. Like my day ended yesterday with Dr. Brett McCabe writing a word on my glove, and it's just a big word right on top of my thumb. It just says process. He says my process sucks. Wait until you guys see when he didn't tell me what to do in the process, and I just walked up to like how wrong I was. Like he'd be like we had a process, and then I would forget. I'd just throw it to the ball, and then I'd hit it in the woods, and he'd be like, "Well, what'd you just do?" Oh my god, it was the best. And one time, like I argued with him and said I did the process, and he goes, "Well, you're in a bunker, and we can see your footsteps. So look behind you. Are there any footsteps behind you?" And I was just like, "Oh fuck!" Like it was actually
just
caught
calling
red-handed.
you out. Yeah, exactly. Just wrong.
He's like, "Well, did you do the process?" I was like, "Yes, I did the process." And he's like, "There's not one foot mark behind you." I was like, "Oh fuck!"
I was lying. I was lying.
Yeah.
I didn't do the process.
I was like, "You weren't even looking. You didn't see me do the process." He's like, "Well, I could see right behind you. You didn't do a fucking thing." Oh man, so
That's great.
I also do
Can't
want to
wait
say,
though. If you do this thing with Scott Fawcett and you tell me that the line's over the bunker or like through the bunker, and then you hit it in the bunker, that's where it's going to be a real test of all the lessons you've learned. The process, Scott Fawcett.
yeah,
You know,
It
like
might be
now,
too much. It might
now
be
you're
too much.
okay in the bunker. You're going to tell me, no, this is where I was supposed to be in the bunker. So it should be really, it should be good content all around.
we're just gonna minimize our mistakes. We're gonna turn 8s into 5s. That's the biggest thing. I'm not trying to become a scratch golfer right now. I'm trying to just become more consistent, and that's where he's getting me. It's just mind shit that's like makes you feel at ease. And I also do want to say I want to go back real quick because I know the Nate dog will fucking kill us. The Barstool blog is still very much a incredible experience, and I've been thinking about that since we've been talking about it. That place has some of the best writers we've ever had. Number one being Coley Mick. If you're not reading Coley Mick on the blog, he blogs the way he talks, and that's like the best thing of all time, which I love. So I just wanted to add that in because I still very much frequent the Barstool website.
Oh, the Barstool blog is better than it's ever been. It's just different, and we don't do it as
Yes.
much, which is probably
Correct.
much to their chagrin. It's much to Nate's chagrin, much to Coley Mick's chagrin. That like we're not on it as much. But again, we've done other stuff. We would rather be frolicking around on a golf course than
Exactly. Yeah.
bag
Exactly.
that, cranking out 20 blogs a day. That's just where we're at. Peter Millar. So when we are on a golf course, we're rocking Peter Millar. Their stealth performance pullovers are off the charts. Their Perth pullover, by the way, is in the pullover Hall of Fame. It's in the rafters. It hangs in the rafters. But you have to check out their stealth. Their new stealth performance pullover features performance benefits like 4-way stretch, moisture wicking fabric, and easy care in a sleek quarter zip, perfect for breezy mornings or cooler evenings. A tailored fit and hidden zipper give this pullover a clean look and feel. You go over to petermillar.com/forwardplay. Use the code forwardplay. You will receive complimentary shipping. I have to say that this afternoon I'm going to go over to one of my favorite spots, Erin Hills. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be like 48 degrees up to like 55 degrees over these next 3 days. That a couple St. Louis buddies and I are going to play some golf. And it's so nice to go into your closet and be like, all right, I'm going to have some chilly weather. I'm going to want to be able to swing. I'm going to want to look good because it's a U.S. Open type course. What am I going to rock? And I just have the Peter Millar stealth pullover sitting right in there, knowing that if it's breezy out there, it's going to cover me. But if I'm walking and I'm starting to get a little bit warm, it's breathable. It's moisture wicking as well. So just having Peter Millar in your closet and knowing that it's perfect for every occasion is huge. And yes, it's opening week at Erin Hills. I had my St. Louis fellas hit me up about a month ago and said, hey, we're jonesing to get up to Erin. They're booked all summer long, but May 4th, 5th, 6th, we were thinking about making a trip opening week. And I said, yep, I would love to be at Erin Hills opening week. So we're going there for just the next 2 days, and we're going to drive to St. Louis, and we're going to be in St. Louis for the weekend for, the Blues home games. But little Erin Hills trip, little Peter Millar for the fellas. PeterMillar.com/foreplay. Use the code foreplay to receive complimentary shipping. My favorite pants of all time, the EB66 5 pocket pants. I got about 3 pair of those that I'm going to rock this week. And then, their hoodies, their polos. I'll be wearing all Peter Millar polos. So they're just nobody's better. I rock a Peter Millar medium polo now, which makes me look, a lot of people commenting that I look slimmer in videos lately. That's not true. I just wear a smaller shirt and suck in more. So Peter Millar can even make you look better than you probably should look. So PeterMillar.com/foreplay. Use the code foreplay. Get complimentary shipping and check out a bunch of our favorites. Last thing we were talking about before Kisner interrupted us was Tiger Woods, Justine Reed. So UseGolfFACTS appeared on Saturday night at like midnight, 1 a.m, something like that, and said, I wonder what it's like to have the director of golf at Southern Hills give you all, capitals, all the course notes you need for the upcoming PGA Championship. Do all players get this treatment at PGA? For Tiger Woods, this is just embarrassing that at PGA posted this photo, and it's very telling. Now, the reaction to this has been from everyone in the industry, including professional golfers. Yes, everybody gets this treatment. In fact, if you arrive at any course really in the country and you're not a professional golfer, if you're just myself or Lurch or Frankie or Trent, and you're in the pro shop and you pay your greens fee and you ask the director of golf or the head pro or the assistant pro in the shop, you say, hey, I never been here before. You got any knowledge on the course? They'll go, absolutely, I got some knowledge on the course. We're here. You're going to want to be below the hole. Or it's actually on this track, even though it doesn't look like it, it usually opens up way more on the right. So you'd be great to miss most holes, off the tee on the right side, favor the right side, whatever. They'll give you any notes that you want. I had Wesley Bryan. I saw all kinds of people respond to the tweet saying, if you are any golfer and you show up to Southern Hills a month, 2 months, a week before the PGA Championship, and you go into the membership, you go into the clubhouse, you go into the pro shop, and you ask the staff to help you out or give you some information, they are jonesing to give you information. They live for this shit. These motherfuckers are at this course 24/7, 365. They've been talking about hosting the PGA Championship since the second that it was announced, and probably 10, 20 years before that. All they live for is to talk about. When they get drinks at the local bar at night, all they're saying is, I can't wait to see guys, that missed the hole left on 3, how much trouble they're going to be in. That's what these fucking guys do all day, every day. So their chance to share that information with people that are actually going to play in the tournament is their favorite thing to do in the world. And then I saw a bunch of people saying Patrick Reed was actually at Southern Hills, I think, last week or the week before, doing the exact same thing that UseGolfFACTS, who may or may not be Justine Reed, was bitching about. And all these things being true at the same time, I guess I would say, is why we love UseGolfFACTS, because
100%.
UseGolfFACTS is trying to base its entire existence on righting the wrongs in golf and just being factual and bottom line. And in reality, it's just a parody account that doesn't know it's a parody account.
It's an amazing account. Honestly, it sent the internet a buzz with all different takes. I loved reading all the takes. I was hoping that I missed something there, and you were like, "Yeah." And there was actually a picture of Patrick Reed, with the director of golf on the first tee, just be the best thing in the world. No, but it is. Yeah, it's a parody account. I mean, she just whines at every different level, and if there's any edge to golf of picking up tips or really honestly anything, she loves to knock that in, to protect her boy, P. Reed. And it is just amazing on all different levels.
Imagine it's not Justine Reed.
I know. I thought about that too.
That'd be amazing.
Just some troll. I mean, there's millions of trolls everywhere. Why is it not to be believed that it's some dude that tweets about Patrick Reed a lot?
Do you imagine the giddy smiles when this person does that, and then they see our podcast, other podcasts just light up in flames about Justine Reed and talk about it and all these tweets about it, and it's just some guy named Jeremy.
All-time troll. Just an all-time troll.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the most successful troll account in the history of golf. I mean, you You convince the entire world that you're one of the most controversial golf figures, Masters champion, Ryder Cup, star's wife, and you're just not. You're just like Tim who goes to his accounting gig and occasionally at lunch logs in and just fucks with the entire golf Twitter. It'd be fantastic. I hope that that's true. I do not, unfortunately, believe that it is. I have to shout out Golf Digest, who had a great tweet 2 days ago, and they tweeted out an article authored by Patrick Reed. I think it was like from a week ago, but they tweeted it out the other day and wrote, "Stick with Patrick Reed's sand strategy to become a bunker expert." And then it says, "How Patrick Reed succeeds from the sand and how you can too." There's no doubt in my mind that these folks over at Golf Digest knew what they were doing with this. It's like a little bit of double dipping. It's like, no, he's one of the better short game players on tour. Here's the tips from Patrick Reed. But then the way that they phrased it, all of the replies were obviously, screenshots from the Hero World Challenge and chirping Patrick Reed. Very well played by Golf Digest. They get a lot of shit these days. Extremely well played. I laughed out loud. And then it sent everybody into a tizzy, people fighting. I'll say it's not a hockey podcast, but man.
No, thank you.
Oh, they're going to turn your bed? They're going to do a little...
No, thank you.
Nice to have that back. Nice to have that back. For a couple years,
we
didn't really have... They
right.
It's such an iconic tap. I think they use a card to tap on it, right? It's almost like the card to get in. Is that what they do,
the soft tap?
It's just, I think they use whatever card they're going to use to get into this room. They tap on the outside because it's not a knock. It's like it's a ringing tap. And it's piercing, but I avoided that situation just now. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're okay. I have to say, the Patrick Reed situation reminded me of, a lot of the tweets that you get and see and what Twitter is like during playoffs, hockey playoffs. It is so easy to rile people up. It is so easy to rattle people. People are so gullible on Twitter that, I put out a couple tweets just like, yeah, it's nice to teach Minnesotans a little bit about hockey tonight. And I got 15 DMs even where people take it not from the public sphere of Twitter.
That's a good tweet though. Because you're knocking their core of Minnesota.
They're DMing me stats about hockey in Minnesota versus Minnesota. I'm like, no shit, you fucking idiots. It's just
that's a good tweet because that's a good troll tweet.
Really, and it's great because you really, who inspires a lot of that is Dave with his bandwagon stuff about the Bruins every year, which is laugh out loud funny. But man, you can rile up an entire state full of people in just a couple tweets, and they take it so personally and they get so offended by it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So to bring that full circle, well played by Golf Digest. I know exactly what they were leaning into there. They got the reaction that they wanted. And that's just how you get engagement. That's how you do social media. If you can handle some of the backlash. I just wanted to comment to Tiger Woods. It's really a miracle. It's a miracle that this man is there doing it again. It is incredible that he's just showing up to Southern Hills, 3 weeks before the PGA Championship with his leg sleeve on, and he's going through the process. He's going through the entire start to finish process that it takes to try to win a major championship. This man is trying to win major championships again. We didn't think he would fucking walk. People that responded to our tweet saying, can't wait for Tiger to come back after the crash last year, after the accident. There was a fucking moment, which I forgot about. I'm reading Bob Herring's book about Tiger and Phil and the dichotomy between the two of them. We're going to have him on, I think, next week to talk about it. But I was reading his book on the plane while I was audiobooking it, so you guys might disagree with that. But I was, in my opinion, reading his book on the plane. And I had forgotten that a week after Tiger's crash last year, everybody in professional golf on the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour wore red and black as an honorable nod to Tiger Woods while he was in his hospital bed. People thought he was going to die. People were literally doing that a year ago, wearing red and black to tip the old cap to Tiger Woods. And now he's just out there preparing to win major championships again. That's fucking crazy. People were treating him like he died, and he's just trying to steal their majors again.
It's a comeback that we all, if we went back and listened to ourselves a year ago and how we were talking about Tiger Woods, it's a comeback that we really never saw coming. I said that this guy wouldn't play golf all year. Like I was like the PNC was like nothing. Like there's no chance this guy's gonna take any risks. He just played in the Masters. He's playing in the PGA Championship. He hasn't missed a major. It's crazy. Like the
We
guy.
said that. We all said that like 6 weeks ago. We were like, yeah, no way he plays this year. I mean, what?
I think I put like 0% chance on anything except for St. Andrews. I was like maybe 50% just because it's like flat and he loves that place. But now like the guy's walking up and down the hills of Southern Hills. It's nuts. It's truly incredible.
You said he should move to St. Andrews a month before and acclimate himself to Scotland to prepare to play at one major, and he's just playing in all of them.
Which I still think he should do. I think that'd be insane.
He kind of is, dude. He's going to Ireland like 2 weeks before and playing in this Pro-Am thing, and like I think it's the Monday, Tuesday before Open week. And then I doubt he's going to fly back. So I think he's kind of acclimating himself to the United Kingdom, which is
nuts.
Good.
Like, we haven't really talked about it, but like we're going to be over on that side of the pond at that same time. So if we run into Tiger at the old pub in Scotland, that would be something.
Tiger's just at the pub, just sitting back, having a couple beers, playing a game of cards.
Those Scottish people are crazy enough where I don't think they'd even fucking blink. They'd just be like, all right, like, yeah, what do you want?
Totally. You go, Tiger, you want to get us? And they just keep ripping. I think I would just kill myself after that. Like, if we just had a Guinness with Tiger Woods in Scotland, I mean, that's just the best thing that's ever happened. It's only downhill from here. See you later, boys.
Well, you could either do that or you can fly on one of these fucking planes that are dropping out of the air recently. What the fuck's that about? I don't want to talk about it too much because I have a flight today. But like things are starting to happen on these like commercial flights, and I don't want to get into it. I really don't, because I think it's horrific to talk about on this big of a platform. But like these engine fires and electrical fires that are happening. I mean, that picture on the Padres, like he said his fucking plane nosedived down to the ground. It's like Delta flight nosedived down to the ground. The fucking pilot was like, "Everyone, put your fucking masks on."
I don't like that stuff because
I don't want to deal with that shit, man.
Lurch knows too. Lurch was up there. I mean, I took 92 flights last year. I think I'm probably going to take more this year. I can't think about that stuff. It's not a world I want to live in.
But both planes. One had been like, I think one of them was like the Alabama or some SEC school. Their gymnastics team experienced the same thing. Both planes glided down, but that drop down can't be fun. It can't be fun.
Have you seen the Boeing docu?
No. Nope.
Yeah, okay. I watched the documentary, dude.
Dude, I watched that thing because, I mean, yeah, Riggs, I don't know how many flights I flew, but it's an outrageous amount of flights.
I'm sick right now. I have it right in my throat, right here underneath my tongue. Dude, I'm nauseous right now.
Anyways, at the front.
I got to go up there today in 2 hours.
Basically at the front of the Boeing airplane, there used to be this little, like, device that sat right by the nose. And basically, depending on like how the wind came, it would affect the way like the tail and the rudders would control the aircraft. Anyways, it was a total fuck up because if something is like a critical device to a Boeing aircraft, it always has like 38 sensors attached to it. It's never a 1-to-1 ratio, so it knows like, oh, that sensor's just broken, like we can trust others. This was a 1-to-1, and that's where like Lion went down, which is a like United, I think in maybe South Africa. But anyway, it's just a different airline. And then another one went down because it was a 1-to-1 ratio. This thing had just like broken on the nose and then told the tail to like drop the nose, and it needed to go, basically it needed to point the nose down. And it did that on 2 planes. And they just literally went flat and then just pivoted and went straight down.
By the way, when Lurch says went down, I mean, these planes, nosedive straight into the ground and ocean and killed everybody on board instantly. So like these were, but I will say the one thing that makes me feel better after watching a documentary is these failures that led to those crashes were like systemic issues that dated back like 10 or 15 years with like private equity companies or whatever taking over and then trying to like mitigate costs, and like it actually all kind of led to that, which
the
made
finance
me feel,
side into the equation.
That made me feel a little bit better that it wasn't. It was like Boeing for decades had like 35 checkpoints that none of this could happen on any sensor on any part of any plane ever. And then like because they kind of got trimmed down and were really threatened by Airbus and like they were getting dominated in the market by Airbus, they rushed out the Boeing Air Max, which is the one that ended up 2 of the planes went down. And so like it actually made me feel a little bit better. But what didn't is like these executives, dude, in these meetings that just did not give a fuck about hundreds of people dying. All they cared about was just the reputation of Boeing being like, yeah, no, that was a fluke, pilot error. And they're like blaming it on these pilots. Meanwhile, the pilots like weren't trained and weren't told about these issues. And so the poor pilots, Frankie, were legitimately fighting against the plane, and the plane was purposely nosediving because of like these software issues. It's fucking also, insanity, dude.
The other piece, I think it was called an MCAT, wasn't even in basically like the how to fly the plane log. Like in terms of you learning how to fly, this piece of the puzzle wasn't even in the documentation of the lesson plan of how to learn about to fly this. What was the exact aircraft? It was what was it called?
The Boeing,
330.
The Boeing, it was like the Air Max or whatever.
Air Max, yeah, something like that. Anyways, it was a mess, and so.
Well, hopefully we're not part of
737 Max.
Hopefully we're not part of the next documentary where they just like realized that there was like a 20-year systematic problem, and I'm on that flight. Like, well, I mean, hopefully they figured it all out.
And look, this is not like this stuff's horrific. Like the scumbaggery that went down for these things to occur. Watching the documentary will infuriate you. The only reason I'm saying, as someone that flies all the time, is that at least it didn't come off by like chance that this could really happen. It had to be, and there's like all kinds of obviously redoing the system and like reaffirming that there need to be, several quality checks so that these things can't happen. But yeah, it makes me nervous that like there will be another point where there needs to be a revamping of the system because correction because things will happen. So it's
2
horrifying.
planes had electrical fires in the last like month.
That's
so it's
horrifying.
Like that's something that's a documentary coming up. Like I don't know what's happening, but like we need to stop nosediving these planes.
Yes, it's a little bit like you got to play the percentages game to make yourself feel better, right? Like if you don't, then you can like at any moment when the plane starts to shake a little bit, you think like, oh God, it's over. But like,
all right, we got to stop. We actually have to stop. Have to stop.
Frankie, but think about
I know
on the percentage side, like when you looked at that air map the other day with all the planes flying every different direction, and like these crashes happen like once in just a blue moon. If you think about getting in your car, there's way more risk in that than there is in an air, so it is a percentage game in that way, but like there's still no excuse to Riggs's point, like how grave the mistakes were by the executives and just like basically this 5-10 year lead up of just like a bunch of missteps that got them in this point that were building shitty aircrafts to try to save a buck, where it's like, dude, you're an airline, you can't be out there to save $1. You're 37,000 feet up in the air. Like, let's have some safety precautions built in this and try to avoid those things.
And the whole issue really
take a train home
goes. I know I've thought about it a lot. We're going to talk about Roman.
John
here,
Madden never got into a plane. I think he just took his bus everywhere. John Madden.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think he just took the John Madden tour bus around the country and did Monday Night Football and never got into a plane.
Dude, there was when we did the Chicklets Cup in Vegas, which was awesome. We're doing the one in Buffalo this summer, but I flew on a really small plane, JSX, who's an excellent airline, but they're very small and they only do stuff out west, basically. But it's like 20 people on these small planes. And it was, remember how windy it was, Frankie, that day before the tournament started? Well, we come from Scottsdale to Vegas on this tiny plane. I mean, our plane, trying to land on this run, was like moving up, down, left, right, to the point we came in kind of like almost sideways when they're landing. And you're just like, this is what you see come across your local news is like small plane with 21 people on board. Like, this is what you see. Yeah. And you're sitting on this fucking thing being like, I couldn't fucking drive. It's a 4.5 hour fucking drive. You couldn't just drive. Like, what are you doing in the sky in this giant tube flying sideways into the fucking, like, what are you doing? What are we doing up here? How did this happen? We used to be on fucking carriages and, and now we're in the sky flying 500 miles an hour into the wind. And then they just land it, no problem. The guy's like, yeah, welcome to Vegas. And you're like, dude, what do you mean welcome to Vegas? What you just did was one of the most heroic pieces, and then nobody talks about it. Like 35 minutes later, they're just back up in the air flying the other direction. It's fucking bananas.
New set of people, and it's like
it's crazy.
I will say those crazy landings though, where it looks like they're coming in the runway perpendicular, and then they catch the near side tire, and then they just and now they're going straight, and you're like, dude, what did you just do to make that happen?
That happened to me
You
the
put
other
a
day.
lot
I
of
had my
trust in
face
that
up
tire.
I had my face up against the window, like squeezing it to see if I could catch a piece of the fucking runway, because I'm like, this guy's coming in sideways, man. I was legitimately up against the window trying to look straight. Oh god, I can't believe I'm going on a flight today. This is insane.
Do you guys know? Do you guys know Phil Mickelson's dad was a pilot?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I learned that from this book that I'm reading. You're probably gonna get a lot of little tidbits because I'm reading this book.
I want to become a pilot. I'd love to be a. I'd love to fly a Cessna 185.
Our boy Dustin Schaefer, who plays in all the Barstool Classics, he has his own little plane and flies himself everywhere. Air Schaefer.
Yeah, it's epic.
He just said, he's like, I just decided, however long it goes, 5-6 years ago, he's like, I just decided it'd be cool to become a pilot. So I just signed up, took flying lessons. You get to a point where you've done enough simulator hours and all the other stuff that you can just fly. So he just flies his own plane.
It's epic. So cool.
We can talk about Roman real quick. I feel like if you fly, it'd probably help you get into situations where you might be able to use Roman, because
Arnie Palmer. I mean, guy was just the biggest stud pilot of all time. He invented, I think, don't people kind of associate Arnie with flying from course to course in his plane more than any other person? And I mean, talk about a ladies' man. Talk about Roman. Talk about needing to use it. I mean, Arnie's the stud of studs. Arnie's Army. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, no, one of the great ladies men of all time. Would you call him a ladies' man? Ladies' man?
Ladies'
one of the
man.
great ladies' mans?
Single or plural on the ladies, singular
Your
on the
Wi-Fi
men.
stinks, which sucks.
Mine?
My Wi-Fi or Lurch's?
Lurches.
Ooh, okay, good. I wasn't sure if it was mine.
Actually, just as you said that, I got it.
Anyways, Roman swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They are effective. They are easy to use. They're fast acting. They do not require a prescription. Lurch, where are you, by the way? You're in the Caymans or something like that?
I am. Where? Grand Caymans. It's actually beautiful here. Hit a tennis ball yesterday.
I don't even know where that is.
It's just kind of
I'm looking on a map. Could tell me anything and I'd believe it.
A couple 100 miles south of Florida. Okay. The weird part is we're in Central Time, not Eastern Standard. That screwed me up because when you look at a map, Frankie, if you're looking at the map right now, that feels like Eastern Standard.
Right below Miami.
Right, and it's just we're in Central Time, which really.
I got quick trivia. If you left Detroit, Michigan, going due south, what's the first foreign country you'll hit?
Brazil,
Mexico,
Canada. Think about that one.
F you.
GetRoman.com/Fore to get 10% off swipes when you choose a monthly plan. They're easy to use. Just take the swipes out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry. You're good to go. That's it. Go to GetRoman.com/Fore to get 10% off swipes when you choose a monthly plan. Yeah, that one's a little bit of a mindfuck, isn't it?
Big time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody ever gets that one right. There's another. What
are you talking about?
Well, because there's a little piece of Canada. What is that? Like Ontario that reaches right underneath Detroit. It's just
said Brazil.
Well, I was trying to think. Yeah, you know what? I was wrong. At least I said something. I guess I don't know if that logic holds up. At least you said something. You said the way wrong answer.
No, but I will say there was a moment in the dozen a couple weeks ago when we just didn't have an answer. It was like all we had to do was come up with an ACC football team or something, and we didn't even give an answer. We were so wrong. It was like Miami, and I think I just frantically threw out Clemson with no time left on the clock, and the whole thing just laughed at us, and we ended up losing 12.
I love doing that show, but I also hate doing it because I'd rather just watch it. I'm just not good at. I'm not good at fucking trivia. Why would I want to continue to do that show? It's just hard. I love the show. I love the show so much. I enjoy it. I watch every episode. I'm just not good at it. So I wouldn't just join a fucking basketball team if I can't play basketball. I would like to watch it. Why am I playing?
There's intuitively, I would say most of it we're actually pretty good at, but there's 3 or 4 categories that we are never going to.
College basketball, college football.
We know nothing.
NFL, we have no chance.
We know nothing. Like nothing. I mean,
I'm surprised
we
T Daddy
can't even
didn't
come up
help
with
out
a
with that.
guess.
Sorry?
There's
My internet stinks, I guess. I was saying I'm surprised T Daddy didn't have that answer for you boys. I feel like he's got a little football
That was
knowledge in there.
stunning because he's an Iowa guy. He's a college football guy. I don't have college football in New York. I'm not a big college football fan. I don't know much about it. I was gonna say Syracuse for that answer. Then I didn't want to get laughed at because like obviously an NFL player probably didn't come from Syracuse, so I just stayed quiet. It was just like it's just an embarrassing loss.
I know.
I'm only good at like the face swaps where the two celebrities are one person and I can just get those.
Yeah, you nail those. You
Yeah,
and Trent are good at those. I don't know any of that. I only know like our niche categories, and then when we do like again more like intuitive stuff, when we did the like what was it, McDonald's per capita and stuff like that, I can just when we're all on a level playing field, I feel like I could kind of navigate our way through it. But when it comes to just pure trivia about who was like a second overall draft pick from the ACC in the year 2001 on a team that actually was under 500. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Who on earth knows that? And then the other team, every person on the team knows it. Every person on the team. They're like smirking at us like, what are they doing here? You're like, what world have you guys been living in for the last fucking 30 years that you know that shit?
Yeah.
Sucks. Anyways, great show. People should go watch it. So Phil Mickelson reemerged. We can talk about this real quickly. It kind of reemerged. There's one swing of him hitting a golf shot, and then he registered for PGA Championship, the United States Open, and he applied for an exemption for the first Live Saudi golf tournament in London. Really kind of putting the ball, I guess, in the PGA Tour's court, in Jay Monahan's court in terms of, he has applied for an exemption, which is the same thing they have to do when they play in any event that's not sanctioned by the PGA Tour. I don't know what the hell the tour is going to do because they did grant exemptions for players, if you recall, to play in the Saudi event in February. That's up against, I believe, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, but I think part of the deal was they had to play in the AT&T or something else within the next year or two. So, like, they granted it with a contingency. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't know if they're just going to not allow the exemption for Phil Mickelson, but something's happened and things are moving a little bit for Phil.
Yeah, the swing looked good. He had a lot of recoil. I saw like one of the tweets was like people thinking that like the demise of Phil Mickelson's game are like greatly exaggerated. Like the guy's got swing speed. He's popping still. Yeah, I think that Phil's going to kind of, it's crazy to think that like a 51-year-old or however old he is now, Phil Mickelson's going to be like reinvigorated to like prove people wrong and like try and like have this crazy like edge over people on like he wants to prove everyone that he's an elite golfer and he's going to go out and win. Like imagine Phil Mickelson is in contention to win a major if he like gets let into one of them. It's going to be the craziest storyline ever if like a guy like coming back from everyone hating him. Like will people hate him if he's in the final like grouping? Like will people root against him? It's going to be crazy storylines once Phil comes back. I'm actually looking forward to it.
He's certainly putting the pressure on them to make a decision, which is like kind of fascinating. It's been subtle and basically like long decisions. It hasn't been like rapid fire going back and forth, but the pressure is definitely on Monahan and team to like make a call, which is very intriguing. And I think he'll get a warm welcome. Oh man.
I do too. I don't think Phil, I think once he just returns, there'll be a quick like day or press conference or a few moments that'll get highlighted on Twitter, which means nothing in the world, nothing. And then that'll be it. He'll be thumbs up. He'll be doing his goofy thumbs up. The crowds will be going crazy. There might even be like Phil chants. Like nobody's going to give a fuck at the end of the day. Yeah, he made some comments. He had some potential where he was trying to overthrow the PGA Tour, and people were obviously, narrating it that way. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Phil Mickelson's going to return. People are going to go crazy for him. It's going to be an awesome comeback story if he contends in a big tournament or wins a big tournament, which I imagine he will because he's Phil Mickelson. He's going to be, in 2 weeks, the defending champion of the PGA Championship. The defending champion. Like, he's going to be, he should be on all of the artwork and you know what I mean? Like, That's what they do. All the highlight packages and the essays from Rich Lerner and shit, they're going to have to include Phil Mickelson doing his goofy 2 arms up thing and like holding the trophy and the crowds following him and Brooks Koepka up the 18th hole at Kiel. Like, he's the defending champion at the next major championship. Like, I don't know how the fuck you explain that. This guy has now been ostracized by the golf world. In reality, it's a little bit of the echo chamber of the Twitter world. And in actual reality, nobody, I don't think, is going to give a fuck. I think Phil should absolutely just return at the PGA Championship. He'll do a presser on Monday or Tuesday, get it over with, and then I think the rest of the week, everyone will just kind of celebrate Phil Mickelson. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, and then Phil, it's another opportunity for him to get overshadowed by Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is playing at the PGA Championship, walking around. He's got a sleeve on his legs, wearing shorts. He's swinging the club like crazy. Everyone wants to see everything that Tiger Woods is doing. Phil Mickelson will just show up and just play a practice round, probably come to the Tulsa Tango the night before, and everyone's going to be like, let's fucking go, Phil. Let's just play golf. People have made bad comments before, and they just still continue to play on the PGA Tour. People have made mistakes, and they continue to play on the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods has made many mistakes and continues to play on the PGA Tour and be one of the most celebrated athletes of all time. Phil Mickelson can't make 1 or 2 quotes that we hated on him for and said he was fucking an idiot and he's a dumbass and he should be yelled at and smacked on his hand. But we're never going to let Phil Mickelson play golf again. He's Phil fucking Mickelson. It's sport. When have we ever not allowed guys to play sport? Everyone makes mistakes at the end of the day. It's Pete Rose is the only one that we've ever just continuously just not let him come back, which is just insane. But Phil Mickelson is gonna come back, and if anyone actually cares about that, they're insane. They're insane people.
I mean, look, Ray Lewis murdered somebody, and he was just on the coverage every week, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a good point from Ray." It's like, what are we doing here? It's like the guy made a couple comments. I think he'll be totally fine. I think it's just the echo chamber from Twitter. It is what it is. Another really interesting part from the Bob Herrick book I'm reading is there's a quote from late 1997, early 1998. Where Tiger Woods himself talks about Tiger Mania, and he goes through that stretch which Butch Harmon on our very podcast talked about how Tiger came and changed his swing after the win in the 97 Masters, and he had a year and a half lull and all that, where Tiger himself says Tiger Mania in early 1997 when I was winning all those tournaments and I won the Masters, Tiger Mania, I think, reached its peak. It'll never be anywhere like that again. I mean, that was 25 years ago, and think about how many times Tiger Mania in 2000 when he won every major by 1 billion shots, in 2001 when he won the Tiger Slam, in 2005 when he holed out that chip against Chris DeMarco, and then 2007, 2008 when he came back after his father passed away and he won all those majors again, then Tiger Mania after all the scandal in 2009, and then when he returns in 2008, 2019, wins the Masters. Now Tiger Mania is at such a point where in Tulsa they're flying fucking helicopters over his practice rounds. They thought 25 years ago Tiger Mania had reached its peak and it's probably over. The guy is still, after everything he's been through, he's bigger than he's ever been. I mean, he dominates everything. He shuts down cities when he comes in for a fucking practice round 3 weeks beforehand. So now to kind of relate that to Phil, we're saying, Phil will be fucking fine. He probably should be texting Tiger yo, you're playing in the PGA, right? All right, I'm coming. What time are you doing your presser? I'm going to do my presser 5 minutes before you. And then as soon as Phil's done with his presser, nobody has any time to digest any of the quotes or questions, and they just go straight to whatever Tiger Woods is doing. They should do them simultaneously. He should be I'll make you a deal, PGA Championship. I'll play in your fucking tournament, but I want to do my press conference the exact second that Tiger Woods starts his press conference.
I agree.
What would the PGA be like? No, we're not. We don't want Phil. Of course they want Phil Mickelson to come play at the PGA.
Right. Defending champion. Holy shit. It's just fucking a weird time.
Be the defending champion of the PGA Championship. All right, we got plenty of from the galleries to get to from the fans. So, we ask for these every week, and then sometimes we just bullshit about God knows what. We never really get to it. So I would like to get to it this week. The From the Gallery is brought to you by Truly Hard Seltzer, who have been the title sponsor of the Barstool Classic for 4 straight years now. Truly's delicious. I'm going to have several this week when I'm out playing Erin Hills because it's just a perfect seltzer. It's clean, crisp, refreshing. They got over 30 flavors right now. Okay, 30 flavors. All cans have under 110 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and naturally gluten-free. You can submit your From the Gallery foreplay at barstoolsports.com. Title it, subject it, From the Gallery. I will read it. If it's good and not too long, we will discuss it. Big thanks to Truly. So, We're going to start with a few people that responded to a tweet of mine. And Ty says, the Open Championship, are you guys going? Will there be a party/social? The Barstool tailgate at the Natty Shack, which, nice little throwback there, at the 2017 Masters was prime. Would be great to have a four-place setup at the Open. And Frankie touched on it earlier, but we are going to Scotland for the first time. We have never been as a group. I went for a couple days by myself. Lurch went with a couple buddies when he kind of parlayed it on a work trip, I believe. But other than that, we've never done Scotland. We've never put out any videos or content from Scotland. So we are going over with our friends at TaylorMade Golf for, I think, 10 or 11 days leading up to the Open Championship. We're playing like 7 or 8 different rounds of golf. We're going to be in the pubs. We're going to be checking out a bunch of the sights, the scenes, the cliffs, all that bullshit. So we're going to be in fucking Scotland. I don't know that people know that. I think we're going like basically very early July, right around 4th of July, all the way up until the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of the British Open at the Old Course at St. Andrews. And we're just going to be in the mix in Scotland. I'm crazy excited. There's a lot of times where you set up, one of the coolest thrills that I get, you set up a trip to a place that you know is awesome, and you get a couple of your best buddies or your brother, your dad, and they come out and they experience something, and you get to like witness them experience something that you love and watch them love it. It's such a cool moment. And now in Scotland, we're going to be seeing all kinds of different places that I've never seen, that Lurch has never seen. And it's going to be such a cool mix of like, yeah, we've been there before, but really none of us have been there before. And we're in a foreign fucking country that is the home of golf. It's going to be probably the coolest thing for play overall as like a trip, as a total experience that doesn't include Tiger Woods or some enormous celebrity. Probably going to be the coolest experience that we've had as a group.
Without a doubt. And the production value will be off the charts. Being able to film that type of topography. I know Brendan Jones, E-Bug, is gassed up to be able to fly the drone over there in Scotland. I can't wait to see the type of stuff we get. I mean, I'm just picturing fog and really green grass and just like rolling hills and sheep running everywhere. I'm excited to get to Scotland. I have no idea what to expect when it comes to the food. Is it like what's like Scottish food? Is it like bratwurst and stuff or similar to that? Is it almost like, or is it like obviously closer to Irish food? Soda bread, sauerkraut.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I wouldn't say Scotland's known for its food, for being honest. It's similar to I think that whole part of the world, the United Kingdom. I don't know that they're
bangers and mash.
Yeah, I don't think they have
the food's a top on their radar. I think it's just
food,
like poor food.
Yeah, like London. London's maybe my favorite city I've ever been to for a lot of reasons, but the biggest negative is the food sucks there. And England, Scotland, Ireland, there's a lot of positives about them. We're going to highlight them. I think overall their food kind of sucks.
Okay, so that'll take it down a peg a bit because I do like to experience good food. One of the reasons why I love New Orleans so much was because the food was outrageously good. I'm excited. I'm excited for my game there. I'm excited to be able to just kind of spray the ball over the place. And now with like my new Dr. Brett McCabe, my new process, maybe I'll be able to maneuver my way around those tight greens and those rolling greens and bump and runs, and it'll be fun. We'll see if we can put some good scores up there. I'm really excited. I'm nervous and I'm excited.
What are you nervous for?
I don't know. New country, like going all the way over there. You don't know what to expect. Do they drive on the other side of the road over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like a whole new thing. It's just taking me out of my little zone, which I don't even know if I have like my own zone anymore. We just travel so much that I don't even know where the fuck I am. I was walking into a restaurant last night and I thought I was in San Diego and I was in Alabama. I was in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know why I thought I was in San Diego. Just like we were in a place, dude, it was fucking weird. I don't know if it was because we were walking into a restaurant that reminded me of a place that we walked into when we were in San Diego. But like for a second, I'm just like, oh, it's such nice weather here. And I was like thinking to myself, like, where the fuck am I for a second? Birmingham, Alabama. It's just so wrong.
I do
Wake up in a bed and you're like, what? Where the hell am I?
I do that a lot when at Barstool Classics, we meet like 100 guys. They're usually fans and golfers, and they come through every 10, 20 minutes. You chat with them, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, you guys are on the road a lot. Where'd you guys come from? And I'll be like, I have no idea.
Totally.
Like, yeah, what? I'm like, they're like, where were you yesterday? I'm like,
I don't know.
I literally have no clue. It takes me.
Can you make the questions a little easier, sir? Jesus.
Yeah, slow down, dude. Like, Jesus.
I don't think you're ever prepared to be a traveler of this magnitude. Like, people love to say like, I want to travel when I grow up. It's like, this is different type of traveling. This is like, we're going to the same types of places, and they're amazing. I'm not complaining. I fucking love going to golf courses. But, like, we travel to a city, we go to a hotel, and we go to a golf course. Like, it's just all, like, I don't remember one golf course over the other when it comes to the city. It's just like, I don't know where the fuck we are, especially the Barstool Classics. You're like, I can't remember. It's not like I was at the Bean. I was just at a golf course. When I think back to, like, where I was, I'm just seeing green. You know what I mean? I'm seeing bunkers and I'm seeing pins. I'm not seeing, like, the landmarks. I'm just
right.
Seeing,
Every place I've been has, like, a restaurant and a bar and a golf course and an airport and a hotel. That's pretty much it. And like, unless I'm, like, paragliding off the edge of the cliffs of Moher or something, like, I didn't travel there. I just, like, it's no fucking difference.
I need help with, like, capturing where I'm at and living in the moment. That's something that I'm struggling with. I feel like the last 2 or 3 months, I haven't actually soaked in anything. New Orleans, I definitely soaked in. I remember the restaurant names.
It's funny because I think you're better at that than most of us are. Like, when we went to Myrtle Beach, you, like, made us go to the Pirates Voyage, and when we go to Disney, when we were in Orlando, you're like, we have to go to Disney. So I feel like
I
you're
remember
better at that
those
than
because
am.
I did that. So I need to be better at, like, constantly doing that. It's more strenuous, and it's like it makes you more tired, and it's just there's so much more added to it. But, like, that's the only way I remember the trips. Like I remember the Pirates Voyage. I remember everything we did in Disney. I remember everywhere we went, the days we went, what places we saw, what rides we went to. I remember, like, New Orleans, all the restaurants. But, like, I don't know. I just don't, like, I don't know. I just don't remember much, like, about these other cities when I just go to the golf course and come home. I just, like, I don't know how to capture in my brain. Like, you're so good at remembering golf courses and holes and, like, what we fucking shot.
But I can't remember where I was yesterday. You know what I mean?
My
like,
brain does not work like that, man. I don't remember what I did yesterday with Dr. Brett McCabe. I can't remember what hole I made the birdie on.
Well, what are you supposed to, like, sit here in Bama? What are you supposed to go to Bass Pro Shop and get a fucking fly rod and go fly fishing in the street? Like, what are you supposed to do? You know, it's like you just want to go to a hotel and go to sleep so you can fucking catch your flight the next day.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Reminder when you, a good way to help really cherish the experience is Truly. Go get some Truly Hard Seltzer. Yeah, really good. Derek says, is Frankie a mental case off camera, or does he just cook it up a bit for the content? Yeah, I would say that you're definitely a mental case off camera, but I would say we're all pretty much what people would suspect off camera.
Yeah, I mean, like, when the levee breaks thing happened, like, that was just as natural of a fuck up and just mess as you could possibly imagine. So I don't even know if Lurch was on the show when that happened.
I got on the show, yeah.
I got a good text from my mom and sister who listen to every show, who's just said that was probably their favorite story in the history of foreplay.
It's tough. 80 million songs.
Hey, Frankie, we're here in New Orleans. What's your, if you had to pick a walk-up song, what would it be? When the levee breaks, I'm going to go
just so oddly specific to the terror and death that happened.
Yeah.
How many songs are there on Spotify? 80 million or something?
I think it's 80 million. Then there was also a stat where it was like 40,000 new songs are uploaded per day to streaming services or something like that.
You could have picked any other one.
You could have picked a song you wrote as like a 7-year-old. Just anything.
Anything.
Doesn't matter.
Where the hippopotamuses are, like, just anything, like any song. Where do my sneakers go at night? Oh man, that's that Rick Charette song. Guys from my elementary school.
Ed says, "Do you think the Earth weighs more or less now than it did 1,000 years ago?"
What?
More?
Has to. Even if it's so slightly significant. I mean, even if it goes...
Why would you say more?
There's just more... Oh, no. If you're going to throw some stat on me that, like, a
No,
factory...
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know.
So, like, a factory being built has to have more weight to it on the Earth.
But guess what it was built from?
Yeah, I know, stuff that was already here.
That stuff didn't, they didn't go get that stuff from Mars and make it.
Did we get hit by an asteroid or anything? Did we get hit by an asteroid? Did we get smacked by something to give us a little bit extra from outside?
Fuck. So there's nothing, so weight and mass has nothing to do with, like, compounding, like, these elements together. It doesn't become heavier.
You think I fucking know the answer to that question, Frankie?
Like, if I took, like, 10 trees and I smashed them all together and made a block of trees. That's not, in fact, heavier than the 10 trees separated. I don't know. Is that like, I don't know.
I
that
really
answer.
don't think so, but I don't look. I don't know if you can. Can you change the mass of stuff that's already here without introducing new stuff? That would be my question. I don't know that you can.
Sucks. Because I thought for sure, like, I was going to say stadiums and fucking just not right, man. Because, like, yeah, all that shit's already here. What the fuck am I talking about? The weight's just already. We're so insignificant. It's crazy.
We
All
are
this shit.
extremely insignificant. Dude, I was watching this fucking thing on Netflix the other night. They were talking about the creation of Earth. And I mean, the years that they're throwing out there, what, like
Crazy.
4.5 billion years ago, 4.5 billion years ago, there were just two Earths basically. And like the two Earths like ran into each other and one of them broke off into the moon. And the moon, like every year, the moon moves like 3 centimeters or millimeters further away from Earth. And in like millions of years, the moon will just leave. It'll just be gone, and then we won't have any tides. And then, and you're just looking at this stuff like, what? Like at some point, which has been talked about many times, of course. At some point, like the sun is just going to suck in all the planets, right? And it's gonna like blow up, suck in all the planets. And then like what we did for our 80 years on Earth, like what in the history of the universe and solar system could be less significant than what happens in your life on day 10,057 that is going to be compared to 4.5 billion years of the Earth flying around the sun?
I don't know, man. Sucks.
And we're talking about a golf podcast.
Fucking sucks, dude. Our bones are wet. Our brain is floating in fluid, by the way. That's another thing. So, like, Dr. Brett McCabe was like, yeah, your brain is, like, floating in water. So, like, you need to be hydrated or else you can't, like, think correctly.
He said that to you as you're trying to hit a chip shot?
We were just in the car. He's like, are you hydrating? I was like, no. He's like, well, like, dehydration leads to, like, basically dehydration makes you more prone to, like, the bad thing entering your brain because you're not as alert. Dude, he talks about this thing called the funnel, which is so good. He draws it on the card, the scorecard, and I'm gonna like leave it to him to explain it. But the funnel is amazing. It's the way your brain perceives and like is like conscious in like moments of like hitting a golf shot. Like there's like a step where it's like, here's step 1, this is what happens. Step 2 is very critical. Like, what are you gonna do there? Because then that affects step 3 and step 4. He writes it all out. It's just like it's this funnel where if you do the wrong thing, it flips the funnel the wrong way into your brain, into your mind. Our minds are fucked.
Yeah.
How
especially
like
yours.
one thing can just trigger so many other things in your subconscious that you don't even realize is happening.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
I got some messages from people being like, oh, like, do you believe in like snake oil and voodoo? And like, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that there's gotta be a reason why these guys like John Rahm and fucking Billy Horschel and all these guys, like, they attribute a lot of their success to just a guy like Dr. Brett McCabe, where it helps them just think through their process. They're the best athletes in the world. They need that extra edge to be like, how do I perform my athletic ability at the highest possible rate? And it's by thinking. It's your brain. Your brain can fuck you up. Look at fucking Chuck Knobloch on the Yankees in like the 90s. Guy couldn't throw the baseball to first base. One of the best athletes on the planet at the time. He's a second baseman for the New York Yankees. Could not do it. Ruined his life. Legitimately, go look at a picture of Chuck Knobloch right now.
And that's not physical. That's his brain.
You'll screech.
You can't do that. I would, between the planes and Chuck Knobloch, I can't do those things.
But yeah, our brains are fucked. The world is fucking useless. Like, we are all useless, and our
There you
bones are
go.
wet.
What a
Let's
message.
go get
to
some
send.
breakfast.
Yeah, let's send a good message out there. What do you got? Your big Rutgers hat on today, Lurch?
No, that's Rangers.
Is that Rangers?
That's
It's a big R.
Kind of looks like a Rutgers R, doesn't it?
Is that like the Rangers, like minor league team?
No,
Rochester?
it's just a big R for Rangers.
You sure it's not Rochester?
Yeah, it's not Rochester.
That's
All right, I'm gonna go get some breakfast.
I'll say I want to acknowledge that the people that will be listening to the show on Thursday morning, there will have been a Blues game since then. So some of the stuff we discussed at the very beginning We're recording Wednesday morning at about 9 a.m. So whatever happens, I do have the Blues money line again tonight. They're 5-0 against the Wild so far this year. I don't see any reason that will change. We're going to now throw it to a fighter. We're not really fighters on this show, so having one on will be interesting and a new dynamic. Garry is going to be on the show, so enjoy him. We got to talk first about Celsius real quick. Celsius is what helps you stay active, is energized. We were just discussing how important it is to be hydrated, how important it is for your brain to be fueled by the things that it needs to be alert and operating properly. Celsius is made with premium ingredients, 0 sugar, 7 essential vitamins, not like a traditional energy drink. Delicious flavors: mango, passion fruit, raspberry, acai, peach mango. I think peach mango is now officially my favorite. It's so good. It's so flavorful. It's so good for you. They also have strawberry lemonade and many, many, many more. Go to Celsius.com, find a store near you, or order online at Amazon, at Walmart, at Target. They're just fantastic. They're good for you, right? Like, we all knew energy drinks growing up. We had thoughts about energy drinks. Maybe we thought they were good for us. We learned as we got older that they were not, that they had bad stuff in them. Not Celsius. Celsius helps you stay active and energized all day while being made with the premium ingredients, while having 0 sugar and 7 essential vitamins and being delicious. Please try the peach mango. It's my favorite. Go to Celsius.com, find a store near you, or Amazon, Walmart, Target, order online. Celsius is delicious and it's very good for you. Boys, everybody have a great weekend. Frankie, fly safe. Everybody, I'm going to say fly safe.
Boy.
Fly safe.
And let's go Blues.
Let's go Rangers.
Here's a question I have too. How come every time you see the globe from space, you never see all those like the trails of the planes from the pictures?
Probably too small.
Okay. It's always this like beautifully clear blue globe, but then when you look up, you see all these fucking,
jet streams flying around.
Yeah, but I think when you're looking up from like those planes are like 5 or 6 miles above you, and when you're looking down at the earth, you're like 1,000 miles. So that's a huge difference.
It's a good point. Thought through it.
It's a great point. I'm not going to be on this interview, so just ask him what it's like to be like the opposite of what golf courses like the snobby golf courses people love. Like, this dude's legitimately a cage fighter showing up to golf courses. Like, these old crusty men that like to have their shirts tucked in and like have fucking finance jobs, and they're like, nah, what's your 401k? Like, this dude legitimately pummels people to a pulp right before they're about to die, and then he like lets them tap out. He literally has a job where someone has to tap out before he kills them, and then he shows up to the golf course and like sips on fucking transfusions and like holds the pin for like Dr. McCabe as he like putts in his birdie. It's like the most opposite life of all time. It's pretty hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll ask him that. I'll say Frankie asks you X, and then I'll ask him that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, boys. Everybody have a great weekend. Fly safe, travel safe, be safe. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
All right, folks. We're joined here on the Foreplay Golf Podcast for the first time, I believe, in our history by a fighter, in the future, Garry. And I was just telling you pre-show that I did a little prep work with our guy, Octagon Bob, Robbie Fox, who does a lot of our UFC stuff. He had very good things to say about you and said you're a big golfer.
I am, yeah. I absolutely love golf. Firstly, Robbie is a legend, so shout out to him. He's an OG. I like him a lot. I'm a fighter, but I'm obsessed with golf.
So I got to ask you, this is coming from Frankie, who's on a flight right now, so he was devastated that he couldn't make this. But Frankie had a very good question. He's like, you got to ask him because he's a fighter. He legitimately, for a living, like, murders people to the point just before they die. And then he arrives at, like, golf courses and golf clubs. Is there a big sort of contrast? Is it like a weird feeling that you're this badass fighter and then you roll over these country clubs with their fucking dorks with their sweaters and all kinds of stuff? Is it just like a weird dichotomy?
I mean, I love the aspect of to the general public. People think golfers are dicks, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a dick, so I can't sit here and say anything else. So yeah, I'll just agree with that statement. Yeah, I have no choice. It is funny because I am here and I train down in South Florida, and I'm training with some of the best fighters in the planet. and we beat the shit out of each other every day. That's what we do. Like, we're all friends. We punch each other in the mouth. We try to submit each other. And then I'll happily go home, have a quick shower, and go jump out on the golf course. So it is a massive change. But in regards to mentality, it's not really, though. The mentality behind golf and fighting are very, very similar. I mean, at the end of the day, there is someone trying to beat me up in the octagon. There's someone trying to beat me up in here, but it all depends on what I do. It all depends on how I perform. If I step in there and I'm not in the right headspace, I'm gonna get fucked up, right? I'm gonna get kicked the shit out of. And if I show up to a golf course and maybe I'm rushing and I'm not ready and I'm going out, I'm gonna have a shit game of golf. It's the same thing. It's like, whereas if I show up, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I want to shot. Maybe I've got a new club. Maybe I'm trying to shoot new shots or play different styles. It's like, that's going to have me more excited to play well. And it's that mentality of, if you're in it, you're in it. You should do well.
It's really funny because Robbie was telling me, he's like, he was chatting with Meatball, and she was saying that she thinks the sport, the game that's closest to MMA is golf, and was talking about the mental aspect to it. And here you are right away saying and making the same comparison, that from the mental approach, MMA fighting is closest to golf, which is hilarious because culturally, I don't know that you could have two sports that are further apart. So you think that's pretty true as well, where you kind of compare a lot of the mental approach from golf to fighting?
I think there's a lot of look, the mentality in regards to any elite level sports is the most important part of the elite sport is your mentality. Some people are naturally gifted. Some people have amazing talent. Some people are workhorses. But if you don't have the right mentality in any given sport or anything like that, if you don't have that right mentality, then you are beatable. Like, you can be broken down and beat. And whether that is just going out and playing around, I don't know, if you take the young guys, right? You put them all out there and around with Tiger Woods at his prime, and you've got, I don't know, you stick Mark Howard, you stick Victor Hovland, you put Tiger Woods out there. Those guys are going to feel intimidated by that guy, Tiger Woods. Why? Because they know that he plays golf. Every shot is like his last shot. Like, he plays that he is the best golfer in the world, and that ball can go in the hole even if he hits it from a drive. Like, he's that good. Like, that is how good he knows he is, and the world knows he is, because of his mentality and his work ethic. And I feel like golf is very, very similar to in fighting in regards to, you're only as good as you are in here. If you start, how many times have you been stood, you've hit a shot, it's not on the green, but it's just in front of a bunker and you're safe? How many times have you stood there and gone, right, I've got a load of green to work with. I'm just going to chip this nice and casually up over the bunker and let it run towards the hole. Many times you thin that putt or duffed it and stuck it in the bunker. How many times? I've done it. I've done it millions of times, because
probably billions of times, and I'm gonna do it billions more times than you. But you know what's amazing about that is that the second that you start thinking, I'm gonna flub this shit into this bunker and make double, then you flub it into the bunker.
Yeah.
But when you approach that shot and all you're seeing is this beautiful pitch that lands 5 feet onto the green and rolls out, how much more, consistently you're able to hit that shot. So, I mean, look, I'm talking to somebody who fights people for a living. Clearly your mental toughness is going to be off the charts. I got to know how do you even get into MMA and fighting? Because you seem like a lovely, friendly fella. You're very engaging. You're very conversational. People would think all the time, in order to be some badass MMA fighter who's undefeated and kicking the shit out of people all the time, that you must be this total savage who just lives to eat other people's flesh. Here you are again, pretty chit-chatty, friendly fellow who likes to talk about golf. How do you even get into fighting?
So firstly, before that, I want to just go back to that point, right? You've done that 100 million times. You've done it as many times as you possibly can remember. Probably every round you've done it if you've been in front of a bunker, right? If I ask you to step into that cage and fight another man, are you going to think you can win? Or are you going to think I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me? And that's the same mentality.
I'm going to literally call my mom and cry and run the other way.
And that's the mentality. If I go into that cage and I think, oh shit, this is a tough fight, or I'm going to get beaten, you're going to get beat, because you're going in there already losing. Just like when you line up before that shot onto the green over the bunker, you're like, fuck this. There's a bunker in front of me. I don't want to get in the bunker. I don't want to get in the bunker. What do? Goes in the bunker. Whereas if you think this is a nice shot, I can flop this up over it, land it. That's how it works. It's just about that like switch. You have to turn it on and here.
Can you sense when somebody believes you're gonna beat the shit out of
Oh
them?
yeah, you see it in their eyes. That's something that you have to have. That's where you have to have IQ. Like you have to be able to judge someone's movements. And this is to go back to the question that I was saying you asked me there. I feel like I'm born to compete. It doesn't matter what it is, but I'm born to compete. I have a massive fucking ego. Like it doesn't matter what we're playing, what we're doing. I'm the best at it. And I might have never done it before, but I'm going to be better than you, and I'm going to show that how good I am at it. That is just my attitude. When it comes to fighting, I've just always enjoyed the idea from a young age of like causing violence, like hurting someone in a controlled but beautiful way. If that makes sense.
No, it does, right? Because there's an art to it. I mean, just like clearly, again, golf's
Yes.
different. It's perceptually different. We're hitting, you're hitting like these shots in the air, but it can on one level, golf can look violent, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes when Tiger Woods used to swing in the 2007, 2008, like his swing looked violent, but also there's such an art to it and the follow through and
Everything.
Freddie Couples swing and the way the ball flies and it cuts and draws. And I would imagine people that really are know a lot more about MMA and UFC and fighting than I do, there's clearly a very beautiful art to it. And even as someone who's a bit of an outsider to the sport, there's an art to how primal fighting
Yes.
is, right? Like
Yes.
we're all
Yeah.
competitive, that's what we
Yeah.
love to do, but it's just as real and direct and mano a
Yeah.
mano of competition as human beings can have,
100%. You
right?
couldn't be more right. Like that's the nail on the head there. Like it is primal. It goes back to years and years and years and years and years of what we probably would have done if you come into a village in a rainforest or whatever it is. It's like, and you want this land, you want to take over, you've got to beat me. That was where it would have come from. It's like it goes back to those tribal kind of ancestry that we have of like, this is my land, I'm gonna protect this with everything I've got. And you see that with like animals. You see like apes. Someone comes into their territory, it's like, hold on now. This is where I'm king of this little pond, or I'm king of this little couple of trees. If you want to come in here and take this, then you've got to go through me. Obviously, look, the technique is the main thing in fighting. You can be a fighter and you can be sloppy and you can win fights, but the minute you come up against someone who's got technical ability and knows how to use that and has a good mindset, that's a smart fighter. And that's what I would consider myself as. And that's why I've always said that when I'm done fighting, I'd love to make a go at going pro at golf, purely because I know if I spend all the time that I do working on my technical ability in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking, strength and conditioning, just to get better so that my body is faster, and just all these little movements to increase my muscle strength, my output, so that I can push a pace and fight, I could do all that. Get rid of all that and spend my time at golf for a year and go, right, I'm going to get myself a golf coach. I'm going to get a caddy. I'm going to go play golf at 9 a.m. every morning on 3 or 4 different courses. I'm going to work shots. I'm going to be so consistent with it. It's technique, right? I'm going to swing my shots the same way. I'm going to rotate my body. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to just hit those same shots consistent. And that's the thing. It's about tempo and consistency. If I can keep that every single time, I can only improve. And it's the same with fighting. Consistency and just work.
So we always hear the biggest cliche, which is everybody's got to play until they get punched in the face. For you to talk about, you're a smart fighter, technique, how different and difficult is it once the bell rings or do you even at all think about those things? Because, in golf, right, you have time. You're in between swings, you can work on your technique, you can exaggerate. You see everybody from Tiger Woods to you and me doing
Yeah.
it. Once the bell rings, once your opponent comes running at you, with fists of fury, it's sort of, you've got what you've got. So do you think about technique at all once you're in there, or is it just instinct? Is it a mix?
It's instinctual. And I guess the best way, look, this is a golf channel. Let's try to keep this. I can try and make my comparisons mostly golf related, right?
I like
And
it.
this is the best way I can say it. So yes, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? However, how many times have we've seen some of the best second shots in golf have all been from out of trees. We've thought, like, it comes to mind, you've got like McIlroy, Bubba Watson, Tiger Woods, all these amazing second shots where they've had a bad shot off the tee, they end up in the trees, and they've got to make some miraculous shot, whether it be a draw or a fade out, and get it kind of to run onto the green and stop, right? Now, we've seen that many, many, many times. And the reason that those shots happen is because you're only as good as your bad shots are and how you recover from them. So for me, getting punched in the face, it's a part of fighting. Getting kicked in the leg, it's a part of fighting. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's just, right, look, I can't go in there and expect not to get touched at all. I have to take some to give some. But when the whole thing comes together, it's like the best in the world know how to recover from one bad shot. And that might be that one stiff jab where your head goes back, or that one shot that you've hit off the tee into the trees. If you can recover from that, then that switches the whole balance of the fight or the golf game. How many times have you played golf and had a sloppy par, but been more proud of that than hitting 2 straight shots and a birdie?
It's so true, and it's reflective of life, right? I mean, that happens in everything and everything that you do. And you make such a good point about, these guys at the top level in golf, and we're going to keep making the golf comparisons, which I love because it's a golf
100%.
podcast. And
Yeah, keep the golf going. Yeah, always. Yeah.
You're right. And that, these guys work so hard on the range, and they work so hard in their pre-round warm-up on every part of their game. Tiger Woods can hit a 3-wooder, a driver dead straight. He can hit a cut, a draw, high, low, medium, no problem on the range. You get out on the course, you spray one into the trees, and it's like, okay, here we go. And it's like that in every sport that you follow or that you're a fan of, in the same exact way that you're talking about, is where no matter how well you prepare, things are going to go wrong. And it's never about only perfection and only going through games, sports, matches, fights, life, whatever, without, having imperfections. It's about recovering and how you handle them. And it's like that every day in life. And it's like, if you're going to wake up, you're going to make your bed, you're going to have your fucking coffee, and then within seconds, shit's going to go south, man. I
didn't get my coffee this morning because my wife dropped the fucking glass and broke it, so I couldn't make coffee in the coffee machine today. So there's what happens. I didn't get my coffee this morning, right?
There you go. And it's not that you don't have to live life without these things happening, right? You have to figure out how the fuck to react to them and not melt down. And if you melt down or if you don't handle them right, now it spirals out of control and you're not happy and you're right. And you start to affect other people around you and whatever. So it's really interesting to hear you say that. And I imagine, it's pretty easy for me riding around in a goddamn golf cart with a, double vodka transfusion to get over a bad shot, because it doesn't really matter. It's got to be pretty stressful when someone's coming for your livelihood and your face and your family, to try to beat the pulp out of you to recover and handle it and remain calm when you're in the most primal battle of your life.
Agreed.
Right?
Well, firstly, adversity is a beautiful thing. You can look at it 2 ways. You can kind of go, fuck, why has this happened to me? You can go, unreal. Let's attack this head on and let's conquer it and let's grow, let's get better. And I suppose my attitude on all of that is, when you say to me someone's coming to attack your livelihood and they want to beat you up and they want to take everything that you've worked for and fucking flush it down the swatty, I'm in control of that. That is on me. For me, I'm the one who makes the mistake. So if I get punched in the face, it's not his good work. It's my negative. It's my fault. I made the mistake that allowed him to punch me in the face. I've hit that slice and put it in the trees. Now I have to make up for it. No one else can tell me that they hit me so good that they completely tricked me. It's my fault. I'm so good at what I do that I should see everything coming. And if I get hit, it's my fault. No one else. There's no one else to blame. I can't say, oh, well, he was just faster than me, or he's stronger than me, or X, Y, and Z. They're all excuses. And that's what it is. Whereas if I go, no, it was my fault, I need to fix it and I need to get better. That's what it is. For me, it's about mentality. It's about owning up to everything that I do and knowing that if I'm getting beaten wrestling because American American wrestling is so far advanced to most of the world other than Russia. It's like, if I'm to sit here and have that attitude of, oh, well, I mean, he's just so good. It's like, well, no. Like, first, yeah, okay, he's better than you. But how do you get better? You're just going to sit here and complain about it all day? Or are you going to fucking go in there and try to beat him up? And you're going to try take him down? Are you going to try, like, change the tides and be in control of that? Because the only way I can out wrestle someone who's a better wrestler than me is to get better, is to grow, and to go in there one day and wrestle fuck them and sit there and go, yes, fuck you, I'm a better wrestler than you now, let's go. And that's the attitude. Same with golf. If you're hitting bad shots, if you've got one club that isn't on and you're hitting that shot and you just can't fucking figure it out why it is, and then you just don't hit the shot again, and then you, I don't know, say it's a 56 degree and you go, you know, I've got a 60 or I've got a 52, I'll just hit a different shot. It's like, you can do that. That is changing your game to fix a problem that you have, but you're not fixing the problem. You're just kind of avoiding it for the moment. Whereas if you went to the range after or before and just hit that 56 over and over and over again, change your foot position, change ball position, change the attack angle, whatever it is, you'll figure out what was wrong, and then you'll make it better. And then you go, okay, we all have these checklists in our head right before we hit a shot. We all kind of find that feel. We get our aim. We line ourselves up. We make sure that our feet and our heels, everything is feeling right. We make sure our arms aren't feeling too stiff. Our back is loose. Everything's ready to rotate. If we don't do that, we're going to hit a bad shot. So if I don't have the right setup for a day of training, if I don't kind of stretch my body out, if I don't have a little warm up with the guys beforehand, I can't expect to go in there and play as well, fighting, go in there and train as well as I would, or fight as well as I would, if I was to just get up off the couch and go. Same with golf. You know, just get up off the couch, get in your car, go, stand on the tee and expect to hit a fucking 78. It doesn't happen.
So, in terms of prep work, right? We're talking a lot about, you know, trying to mentally feel like that guy didn't beat me there. I kind of beat myself, or I didn't execute properly
Yes.
there. How much of your prep work for a match, like what percentage goes into self-improvement and looking at your own technique and style and execution versus studying the shit out of your opponent so that you know their moves and their game strategy inside and out?
So this is where I'm very different to most of the MMA public. Anyone in MMA, this is where I'm different. I couldn't give a fuck what someone's going to try to do. I couldn't care what you were going to try to do to me in the cage, because it is my choice what happens in that cage. And if you might be a wrestler, you might be a striker, whatever you try to do, you've got to deal with what I'm going to bring to that cage first. And in MMA, we see people drop out it happens every single card. Someone drops out, someone's sick, someone's injured, they have to get a short notice replacement. I never ever want to set my game plan on another person and what they can bring to the table, and then it potentially be changed around. Whereas if I was to just focus on me and just it all be about me, it's always just me that I focus on. If I just focus on what I want to do to improve my game set, so maybe I want to shoot a faster double leg, maybe I want to improve the speed of my hands, maybe I want to work kicks to the legs. If I improve all of those, then whoever is standing across that cage to me is fucked. That's my attitude. It's just whoever it is, I'm going to show everything that I've been working on, and I'm going to use you as my fucking canvas to show the beautiful art that I've been working on.
Are you surprised at all that more people don't have that approach, right? Because like if you make yourself the most, you know, indestructible weapon in the fucking world, then literally no matter what anybody else does is not going to matter. I mean, it's not going to like no matter what their technique, their strategy, their style, their game plan, how could it matter if you are just better at every facet of fighting than they are?
Yeah, I think there's two you don't necessarily have to be better at all those aspects, but I have a massive fucking ego, and I think there's not a lot of people whose ego matches mine.
A lot of it's probably confidence. A lot of people probably don't have the confidence, right?
It goes back to the first thing we talked about. It's a lot of mentality.
Yeah.
I believe that no matter who you put me in that fucking cage with right now, I can beat. I don't care who it is. If you put me in that cage, I can find a method to victory. Sure, that person may be phenomenal at something, they still have to deal with what I'm good at, and they still have to deal with my skill set and how I approach a fight. And also, my energy on fight week is different. I'm so fucking loud. Like, you literally hear me before you see me because you hear me shouting down the hallway. I'm so loud. I've got so much energy. I'm always game to fight, and I'm always game to talk, to chat shit, and stir the pot. That's what I do best. It's like, I chat shit, I annoy people, I keep poking so people get annoyed, and I don't stop because I'm like, if you want to fight, let's go. I'm game. Like, I'm always ready to go. So a lot of it is due to confidence and mentality, and also an understanding of, I know how fucking hard I work, and I know how good I'm going to be. I know how much potential I have, and I know how much I've already touched of it, and I know how much further I can go with the hard work. But I still believe right now that I'm good enough to be a world champion. As of right now, I can only get better and prove how good I will be.
Man, it's insane how much confidence matters in every single part of life. Like,
Yeah.
if you, every part of life, obviously fighting, the top level of sports, golf, like golf, if you stand up to a tee and you're just confident that you're going to hit the fairway or you're going to hit this hard, like, cut, you just fucking do it. Like, whenever you're thinking about the technique, or
Yes.
you're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
man, I
yeah,
hit some
yeah.
bad ones on the range and like,
100%.
I'm going to try to hit, like, then you hit a shitty shot. But when you step up and you're like, no, I have a driver, there's a golf ball, I'm an athlete, I'm just going to do it. You just fucking do it all the time.
Just rip and rip. Do you know what I mean? But like, there's a lot of it that is just in us, okay? How many, and like, let's go back to something that you would have experienced years and years and years ago when you were a kid, right? And your friends, that circle of friends when you were a child, how many of them would have just been more confident around women, or more confident when they were speaking to girls, because they just have confidence, and that's something that matters. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see the difference. And then there's some other people going, look, I like her, but I'm probably not just going to talk just because I'm a bit nervous. It's like, right, so you just fucking grow a set, right? And get and have that confidence in yourself to go, well, what's the worst that happens? You get turned down. Do you know what I mean? And it's that mentality of going, right, well, then if she turned me down, fuck her, I'm better than her anyway. She doesn't deserve me.
Dude, it's like that. Honestly, Ian, it's like that in when I go to check a bag at the airline, my golf bag, I know it's like 56 pounds, but like it's got to be under 50. Like, if I approach that agent and I'm like, oh, I'm so fucked, like, I never get through. But if I approach it like, of course I'm gonna get this bag through, no problem, chit chatty, like, hey, how are you? Like, I get through without an issue every time.
100%.
It's like, if I'm hungover and I'm groggy, I'm like, oh, there's no way they're gonna let me through. They never let me through.
100%, and that's the way it is. It's like, the amount of times my missus has been like to me, we need to fucking go, we're getting on a plane. I'm like, it's fine, we'll be there in 5 minutes, the gate closes in half an hour. And she's like, we've got to get through security at a back. I'm like, look, I have a tattoo on me for a plus sign for like positive energy. If you put positivity out there, you will get it back tenfold. You just have to have that attitude and like just be yourself, be good, like show people, pass that positivity around. And that's everywhere. That doesn't mean just like, that means even when you're feeling shit, still make people smile, still fucking put on that kind of front, be like, I'm good. Yeah, I could complain, but I'm not gonna. Do you know what I mean? All is good. Life is good. Because every day we wake up and we're breathing, it's a benefit, right? Because we could be dead. Right? That's the attitude you should be having in life.
What an attitude. What a just little life lesson this is for everybody out there. Listen, it's very motivational, very much like you can apply it to everything from your profession to your travel to your fucking coffee in the morning with your wife. Like, you could just literally apply it to everything. So when's the next fight? I got to tell you, you're officially the Fore Golf Podcast MMA guy. You are our guy. So now,
but we have to make that official. We have to go out. We
have
to meet up. We have to meet up and get around as well. And we have to make that official. To show off the skills.
We have to get around them. We're gonna get you out there in front of the YouTube audience, in front of our social audience, and this delicate golf community that's out there is now they've been desperately looking for a fighter, whenever they just want to punch one of their buddies in the face for being cheap or never buying drinks at the 19th hole, and they've always thought about that. They're gonna personify that through you.
They're gonna channel their inner Ian Garry.
Kind of,
they're just gonna go, do you know what? If he can do it,
you're our guy. So when they're looking, they're like, all right, that Ian Garry, that guy, that's my man, my UFC, my MMA guy. When are they going to see you next? When can we root for you in the cage?
So there has been no contract sent, no talks yet. I did tell the UFC that I want to fight in Vegas, International Fight Week, for two reasons.
Okay.
One, I want to fight in Vegas. I love Vegas. So I got married. It's awesome. I love it. Two, I want to go play Wolf Creek. Just saying. That's
It's awesome.
But dude, I can't wait. There is like obviously there's the courses like Pebble Beach, Augusta that if we could all play St. Andrews that I'd love to get up and see. But like number one on my list is Wolf Creek. I'm like, I've never seen a golf course that looks that beautiful. And I'm like, that's the one that I want to play right now. The rest, like, I'll hopefully one day eventually play. But right now, that's the one I want to play the most.
Dude, it delivers. It is like you have to sign a waiver where if you drive your cart off like a cliff and kill yourself, that they're not liable. It's that crazy, but it is awesome, and it's one of those. I
Yeah.
mean, I had seen it on the Tiger Woods video game,
Mm-hmm.
and played it on the video game, and
Yeah.
just assumed it was a video game course. So
Yeah,
there's
it
no
looks
way
like it, right?
outside of like a world of The
Yeah.
Sims that you can make a course like this. It's phenomenal. You're gonna love it.
I can't wait. How's your golf going at the moment? What are you shooting? Talk to me. Let's get into
I'm kind
golf.
of well. Look, I'm kind of what I've been. I'm like a 4 right now, but I can shoot 90 or I can shoot 75. I got down last summer. I played really well, and that was the worst thing that could have happened to me because I thought that's who I was. But it's like at the end of the day, we are who we think we
Yes.
are, and so it's funny, dude, because like at the time, I just had endless confidence. Like
Mm-hmm.
my handicap got down to like a 1.8. My buddies
Wow.
were like, "There's no way you're a 1.8." And I was like, "No, no, I'm legit. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you." And then I just kept playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had like one bad day where I just sucked dick again, and ever since then, it's like my confidence just melted down, and now I have good rounds here and there, but I'm not the golfer
Again,
that I
you've
was a
just
year
got
ago.
to
So it's pretty
look.
pretty infuriating.
Every time you stand on the tee, right? Every time you're ready to tee off, you've got to fucking stand there with your dick out and go, I'm gonna fucking nail this. This is the drive that everyone sits
God,
there
I
and
love
goes,
that.
wow. And that's the one that then the mentality then when you hit that drive and stand up first. I have no problem standing up on the tee. I played a scramble recently. We played I played down in Miami. We played a celebrity golf tournament. It was called Celebrity Sweat. And I had no problem going. We were playing a scramble. I'm like, yeah, I'll put my fucking ball down. Boom. It's like, yeah, none of you need to hit. It's good. Let's just go. Why bother? Just take that. I'm not going to get better than that. And that's the attitude. And literally the amount of times that like I'd walk up onto the tee or onto the green and I'd be like, it's all right, I got it. Dunk. And I'd sink the fucking putt. And I'm going, it's all right, let's go. On to the next one. On to the next one. Let's just keep doing this. It's about confidence. Own it. If you are 1.8, you're a fucking 1.8 handicap. That's it. End of. You can sit there, get your app up and show your fucking mates and be like that. Stick the finger up and go, fuck you. See, I told you it was. There it is. Eat it.
I'm obsessed with that. You're right. You're absolutely right. You gotta act and believe like you own the fucking place. And if you do, you will just get what you deserve and get what you want out of anything.
Every building that I walk into, I'm the fucking man. I own it. I'm the shit. It doesn't matter what it is, where it is, who I'm with. I am the fucking king in that room. And that's it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the biggest sports star on the planet. I don't care if I'm stood there with the likes of fucking the GOAT, Brady, or I'm stood there with Ronaldo. It's like, I'm Ian Garry. I don't care what you say. I'm going to sit down and pick your brains because you're elite sports person. I'm the fucking man in here. And that's just the attitude. And yes, it is absolutely ridiculous for someone like me to say that. But that is why, in a couple of years, I am going to be one of the best looking fighters of all time because it's my mentality. And no one can sit here and tell me otherwise. No one.
That's our guy. That's why you're our guy. Come on. We got to get you to fucking Vegas. We got to get Wolf Creek. We got to get
100%.
a win in Vegas. Guy got married there for fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
100%.
Come on.
Got the whole shit. Got fucking married.
I love
loving it. Yeah, dude. Look.
Well, let's play some golf. We gotta sync up. We gotta play some golf together. I gotta come to a fight. I've never been to a fight. I've only watched them on TV.
No, we need to sort that out.
So we got a lot to accomplish.
What you need to do is you need to get
I
on to
know.
boy
We gotta
Robbie Fox and sort that out as well. She's all get the whole Barstool crew. You head down to UFC. Where are you based out of primarily? Is it Vegas or New York?
So I'm based out of Scottsdale, which is obviously not far from
Yes.
Vegas. It's a 30-minute flight,
Yeah.
so I could make it there easy.
Okay, well, what we do is we get all you boys down to Vegas. You all come, we'll all go down, we'll play a game out in Wolf Creek. We'll shoot the fucking lights out, we'll put the world, and we'll show everybody what's up. And then afterwards, I'll go in and I'll knock someone out, and we'll sit back and we'll just enjoy the night. I'll get myself a pizza because that's my celebration.
What a weekend.
100%.
What a goddamn weekend that is.
100%.
I love it. All right, Ian, you're the man. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. You're training, you're grinding, you're beating the shit out of people. So good luck. Stay in touch. Let's play golf. Let's get to a fight.
100%.
Let's own the goddamn world.
Fucking 100%. I don't have a beating people up. I want to go play some golf. My wife was like to me this morning, let's go do some work. I was like, does work involve my driver? And she's like, no, let's go work.
You smart man.
Man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine. We appreciate it. And yeah, good luck. Let's get out there. Let's play. Let's fight. Let's
do it all. I'm always game. Every day, all day.
Thanks, Ian.
Take care, guys. All the best.